It's a hello with great exciting news, video 100. I suspect we thought it would happen with a bit of a fanfare, never ever anticipating that 2020 would lead to the creation of an online video platform. The exciting thing today is that as we do video 100, we are in theory in the northwest in increased lockdown, but we want to illustrate how we don't have to be in lockdown. This video is to wake up and shake up and get you not feeling boundaried by what's happening all around you. This video is going to be legs bias. It's the equivalent of a fit hit. Now I know it won't be completely truly like we'd have it in the gym. I'm not really interested in that. I am though interested in building resilience and endurance in big muscle groups at the same time as honouring posture. So without saying any more, you've got 45 seconds-ish of an activity that's really quite strongly based around the legs, followed by a 15-second, and because we're Pilates practitioners, breathing actively, deeply into the trunk area, so that when you come to do the next exercise, you're more likely to work with your core stability whilst limb loading. Let's go. First position will be a squat. I would have a work surface or a bar. So I'm using this bar here. You find a work surface, either face it with both hands or have one hand. Find your true core. The straightforward activity will always be the good old faithful squat. Are you ready? Get your alignment and here we go. Squat and stand and squat and stand. So that's more or less the pace. Allow me to count you in. There are more or less going to be 10, hinging at the hip, sit your bottom backwards. When we've more or less done 10, I will keep you down. I've actually got a clock that I'm watching. I'm going to keep you down at what we call end range. So the next time, 2 more, 1 more, and stay down here. Make sure you're in the neutral, and now we've got that whole increasing the sit bones reaching back, keeping the upper body stabilised. And on this, you'd be breathing in 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4. You enliven the area, the seat of you. Breathing, 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 and then you're going to come all the way up to stand. Take your deep breaths in and out. The next position you'll go to, you keep breathing out tall, is the raised toes, which is why I'm using the bar. If you want to face your work surface of the bar, that's fine. Here we go. Raising to your tiptoes, absolute parallel, neutral pelvis. Down you go. This is known as a straight back squat. I'm not tucking under. I'm keeping my true neutral pelvic shape. If you've been doing your posture series with me, you'll increasingly know what that feels like. So you're inhaling to lower down and push up, breathing out to lower down and push up, keeping the heels not overly raised, neither dropped, and you're ready to stay down. So we do the end range. You can go up and down, up and down, up and down, inhaling, up and down, exhaling. As long as you're breathing, your trunk will remain aligned and active. Okay, inhaling and exhaling. Don't forget pelvic floor, and all the way up, and roll those ankles down. Finding your turnout, remember, never too wide open with the feet. Keep it 10 to 10 past the hour. You've done your breathing, and find that squat again. Sit into your seat. The hinge is backwards. If you want to put your fingertips to your hip bones, you can. A reason to use the bar is that then the body gets less chance to lose its symmetry. So the bar can either be gently held, you can face it if you're lacking stability, if your knees are particularly weak. Are you ready to stay down here? And we're going to deepen. There are very few people who don't slightly twist and drift. Finding the bar, I find I can get both activations for the back of the hamstring. I'm in my hinge position, I can feel side bottom, side thigh, and up to stand. Doing the breathing, your next position will be tiptoes. Relax the shoulders, find your poise. Are you ready? Raising to toes, heels together, we slowly down and slowly back up. Remember, if we can get the basics under our belt and build strength and endure muscle action, then we can make things a little more choreographed. Right now, I'm only interested in stability and making you strong without losing some of your alignment and your Pilates understanding for the body. Are you ready to stay down there? Make sure you haven't tucked under. Keep the heels squeezing as you're inhaling and exhaling. This muscle there would go in towards the inside of the knee, so as you're working through the quads in this end range movement pattern, strengthening through the knee joint and all the way up and lowering the heels down. You've got 15 seconds. Get yourself ready in what we call wide plie or wide second. Ready for your deeper positioning, we go. It's back to the hinge of the hip again. This is where you'll find you can sit more deeply down. We're not looking to sit lower than the knee joint. If you're 25, fine. But even if you're a bendy Wendy, really the rules would say only let the seat muscles go as high as your knee joint. Keep the weight to the outsides of your feet. Make sure the pelvic shape doesn't change and go to increased curve or too tucked under. And then you stay down. So staying down here. Keep the thighs pulling out wide. You're asking the seat muscles that you sit on most of the day to strengthen at the tailbone, sit bone end. Okay, keep the weight to the outside of the feet and push all the way up to stand. Final exercise in this 6-set positioning is going to be tiptoes here. So, are you ready? Breathe in. Exhaling, raise your toes. And then inhale, down you go. And down. The spine now can kind of be a little bit more upright, but don't tuck your bottom right under. I feel it's more honouring to the pelvis and the hip to have the structure being a little bit more hinge and stand than tucking under and flattening at the lordosis. The next time you're down, you'll stay. Are you ready? Keep those heels up and deepen. Deepen. Remember, in holding the breath, you'll simply deprive the area of the oxygenated enrichment, and also your trunk stabilizers will become bracers. We don't want to brace, we want a living core stability, and let the heels come down. Okay, we're going to do a second set of exactly the same. Are you ready? Have your feet parallel, breathing deeply in and out, and squat and stand. Because you've switched everything on, hopefully keeping the breath going, this squat positioning will go straight to the right areas, which is the back of the hamstring to the side of the bottom, not in the knee joint. You feel the outsides of the feet helping you keep the thighs parallel without rolling in the knees. And down we stay. Staying down there. Don't grip the bottom, remember. It's about pelvic floor, navel to spine, outsides of feet. Thigh bones, imagining they're just gently pulling out from the side of the bum as you find the deeper connection that leads to your tailbone. And push up to stand. You've got 15 seconds of breathing deeply in and out. Next position is going to be your tiptoes. Have that lengthened poise. Rise to your toes and you're breathing. Down we go. Remember, there's no tucking under, and up you come. Lowering and lifting. As you go down and up, the pelvic position stays true. Lengthen, keeping the spine, crown of the head reaching, tailbone pulls down, and you push up. The transition to tiptoes takes you much more towards the muscle that leads to the knee joint in the quads. Not the knee joint as in painfully, but the knees in a stabilising way. Your heels remain up as you work into your breathing with your end range work. In other words, we target the fibres that keep the knee strong. If it's painful, come up a bit deeper, or so come out of it a bit more, don't go deeper. Whichever way, you're training without compromising, all the way up and breathe. As you're breathing in and out, look down your feet, find your 10 to 10 past the hour, find your core area, rib cage, navel, spine, and you're up, tiptoes as we go plie down and up, down. You may want to inhale, lowering, lifting, and exhale, lowering, lifting. If you lift up and pull up on pelvic floor to close your legs, you will get what you need in this turnout position, which keeps hip health and works decently into the quads. Staying where you are, breathe, and then deepen. It is like a pulsing. It's very controlled because you're keeping your heels squeezing and your trunk stabilising, which lightens the demand on the limbs and keeps it appropriately joint structural stabilising, rather than just slamming the body in and out of alignment. Okay, are you ready for your second position wide? You're breathing in and out. Hip bones are still parallel. And here we go. Find the hips sitting backwards, pull the thigh bones out, sit down. It's like a sumo squat, we call it. Pull your seat back and forwards. And the breath. More demand being made on the breath as the legs get increasingly tired, and that's exactly what you want to achieve. The big muscles in the legs demand of the heart, lungs and circulatory system, and that's a health-related benefit of HIIT working. Stay down, you know what's coming. Check your alignment, keep your thighs. As you do your final, not letting the knees travel forwards of the toes, it's the hips, sit bone area, hinging that goes deeper, 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 and all the way up. Final activity, core connect the breathing, use your pelvic floor, keep the collarbones open, it's a tiptoes finish for set number 2. Are we ready? Up onto those toes, and lower and lift. Lowering down, hinging at the hip, still allowing a hinge where you don't try and stay in the flat back. So there's that kind of sumo element, but you're keeping your heels up. You're pulling your thighs as open as you can, as though taking your load to the outside of the little toe area, the ball of the foot there. You're going down to stay. Staying here then. Because you're on tiptoes, some of you will get a little bit deeper than you would because you're not limited by ankle inflexibility. My ankles are relatively inflexible. They're very strong, but they don't like range of movement really. So keep breathing and slowly up. Well done. We're nearly there. We're ready for the tiptoes finale of set 2. Breathing in and out, no locked out limbs, no locked out spine, no bracing. And here we go. Pick up your toes and up and down. Push and pull. Pushing up, pulling down, reaching up and up. Okay, the next time you're going to go down. I've already done this once, you know what? This is what happens when you practice things and then you lose track, but we're going to keep going here because it won't do us any harm. Inhaling and exhaling. Go on, deepen. Deepen, pull the thighs wide. Deepen, deepen, deepen. I think you did one extra than I planned, but life will go very well for you today. Are you ready for 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way up. Now, you've got a minute to relax before your final set. In that minute, stand tall, don't lock out anywhere. Allow the breath to invade the whole of you, particularly in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now, part of fitness is the ability to recover quite quickly. Now, the deep breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth is the best way of controlling and regaining your fitness, your breath back to recover ready for your final set. So we're inhaling and exhaling. You understand your posture. If your breath out allows you to draw the pelvic floor up, don't grip the bottom. If your breath out allows the rib cage to feel as though it V-shapes down in the direction of your navel, then all will be going well for you. So inhaling and exhaling still. Inhaling and exhaling. Keep it going. Are you ready for set 2? Set 2 being parallel. Thigh bones, if you want, you can do the final, set 3 even. Final set can be legs tight together. Core connect pelvically, and we're ready from the top. We go down and up. Keep the thighs together, slight influence of change. You'll get more inner thighs working. The same instructions are hinging at the hip, pressing down through the heels, finding the outsides of your feet as you lower, hinging, keeping neutral and breathing. The breath ideally being inhale, up and down, breath out, up and down. So you're sharing the breath with the movement pattern, lowering and lifting. Staying down for this one then, breathing. The push of the ground and the pull of the ground, so you're pushing through your heels, pushing up a bit, pulling down a bit, push and pull, knees are moving, hips are hinging, push and pull, you're breathing and push all the way up to stand. You're staying in your closed parallel, core connecting, and you're breathing as part of your change of activity. Ready for hydrated workout on tiptoes. So we go, raising to tiptoes, keep those knees tight together. Lowering down and up. Inhaling. Remember, because the ankle's now raised, you end up with a little bit more range of movement around the knee and the hip because the ankle is no longer grounded. Don't overlift the heels. That's usually people that are very bendy-wendy. They tend to go into much too high an arch, which takes away the function of the quad. Go down and stay. You're staying absolutely square. That's why we're holding the bar. Your inner thighs are working, your pelvic floor, rib cage melt is happening, and the push and the pull, pads of the feet, toes, allowing you to work into the muscle that leads to your knee joint, and all the way up and lowering down. Pulling your toes away from each other and breathing your 15-second count. It goes very quickly, doesn't it? Inhaling and exhaling, you should be starting to create some heat and sweat maybe. Are we ready? Hinging at the hip. When you do the turn out, to cue the body to pull the thigh bones out to bend is what you want. So I ask my hips to pull out sideways and my knees to bend. Take the weight to the outsides of the feet and you'll find increasingly that the upper thigh behind does the action of turn out rather than just asking the knees. It's the thigh bones within the pelvis go down to stay. Keeping a sense of the thighs pulling away. Do breathing for the pelvic floor. You'll find when you get the pelvic floor to act that the hip is freer than if you're simply gripping your backside. Okay people, and all the way up, and you're ready to go after 15 breaths or 15 seconds into your tiptoes version of this. Use your breath. I'm having to talk, you can breathe. Keep your poise, to the tiptoes we are, and now we lower and pull those thighs tight together. Inhaling down, pull the inner thighs together. I asked before, think of pelvic floor drawing you up to stand. Pelvic floor, heels squeeze, up you go. Inhaling and exhaling. I physically feel my trunk stability happening. I'm not squeezing my bottom. I'm pulling up on pelvic floor, which gives me internal tension. Staying down then. Be sure that you haven't tucked under. If you're lordotic, obviously you need to do a tiny tilt. If it's in the front of the crotch area, you're definitely tucked under too much. It has to be side bottom, side inside knee. Inhaling, exhaling, and all the way up. Taking yourself ready. You're in turn out, wide, core connect, ribs, navel, spine, and you're ready for your sumo squat in turn out. If your hips, remember, are too tight and worn out, that turnout's not possible, you simply do the wider parallel squat. Not very wide, it can't be this wide in parallel, but wide enough to feel different to the closed thigh squat. Your symmetry, sit bones, hip bones, collarbones is there, the bar allowing that to stay more aligned and stay. You're down here, and we're deepening by pulling the thighs out. If you're conscious of the shoulder area, pull the shoulder blades backwards. You keep your hands reaching back. The position requires obliques, hamstring glutes, and if you keep your thighs pulling out, you'll take it straight into the side of the bottom and you're pushing up. You're standing ready, you're in neutral standing turn out, you're breathing in and out, waiting for the final activity. Final activity, remember, Tanya. And off we go. Tiptoes, lowering and lifting. And remember, don't over pick up the heel because it's not necessary, and structurally you bypass some of the benefits of real stabilisation. You want to keep the pads of your feet Equal load going from the little toe pad to the ball of the foot. Don't keep all of the load in the ball of the foot. As you're going down and up, you're keeping your symmetry. You're hinging at the hip, maybe not as deeply as the previous activity, and you stay. So staying here, you deepen. Core connection. I've already got the shakes on one leg. So I'm appealing now to more pelvic floor obliques. I've hinged at the hip a bit more, which allows me to sit into my bottom more. If you can get a slightly straighter, that's fine, but only fine if you're naturally flat back, I think. I don't think it's fine if you're lordotic. And push all the way up and bring your legs together. Okay, people, that was your 3 sets of 6 exercise reps. So you've done basically 18 exercises, repeating with the quads. That should feel lovely on the legs. That's all we're going to do. By all means, now go to one of your posture videos that allows you to core stabilize the trunk and bring back a sense of connection from head to toe. I will see you again with video 101. Bye for now.